Hey there. I know this is kind of short notice, and for those of you in my pre-sale and profit lab and lounge, I'm probably a couple of minutes late, but I have a good reason. One is because I decided at the last minute to share this little abbreviated broadcast from our content co-creation work session with the masses. So I'm actually broadcasting using the fabulous app StreamYard, and I'm sharing this video, which I would normally only share with those of you in this private group of clients, students, past students, but easy for me to say. But I decided to share this on my business page, my YouTube channel, and am I on my personal page? I don't know. So Winnie Anderson, obviously, and I wanted to share some thoughts for you on making sure that you're creating content that does what it's intended to do, and that is pre-sell you. One of the favorite quotes, the best quotes that I love to use all the time is from the legendary management consultant, considered really the father of modern management, and that's Peter Drucker. And the quote is, marketing's job is to make selling superfluous. When you really think about it, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. Your marketing should be doing the heavy lifting for you. It should pre-sell you. It should attract, of course, be found. I'm going to explain in just a little bit, but it should really educate, elevate, inspire, and invite. Those are the four components of a pre-selling strategy that is client focused. And that's why I'm a big advocate of pre-selling. Leverages your time more effectively, makes your content more powerful, and it means when you have a sales conversation with somebody, and that's different from a marketing conversation. I'll be sharing about that next week. It really helps you to have much more efficient, respectful conversations with people who are genuinely interested in purchasing from you. They're interested in taking action. They're ready to buy. You want to provide marketing content that is available for people who are early along in the buying journey so they can do their own research, they can think about things at their own pace, and your content helps guide them along that buying journey. It's why I refer to core content elements as billboard content, because you are guiding the person along the route, just like a billboard that says miles ahead. So you're providing that key content. It's the whole nature of pre-selling. So I just want to share for you some things to make sure you're thinking about as you structure your pre-selling strategy. And I got more on this, of course, in the coming weeks and months. I'm working on a book and a workbook, and I want to share that with you, of course. So first of all, the whole nature of you creating content is so, and of course I have notes, that's what I'll be glancing down at. The whole point of you creating content is so you can have these tools that are out there marketing and selling for you 24/7. You've got 24 hours in a day. You have to sleep for at least 6 of them, I'm sure. And you've got other stuff to do, client service. You've got life, right? There are 8 strategic priorities that we as entrepreneurs need to be focused on. Let me know if you want to know what they are with the magic symbol and priorities, and I'll share that with you. So you've got a lot to handle as you build your business and serve your clients and manage your life. Content is out there doing the marketing and sales for you as you do these other things. So creating content, it might feel like you don't have time. I know sometimes I can tell myself that, but it's a story and I quickly let it go, because you've got to create content in order to have these assets that do the work for you. So you've really got to look at how you're managing those 8 strategic priorities and say, what am I doing when I'm not investing in marketing time? I'm not investing in creating time so I can create these marketing assets, these business assets. Because you've got to be visible, you've got to be discoverable. So that means you've got to work past whatever's in your head that keeps you in the weeds doing something else. I know I'm an introvert, believe me, as hard as that might be for you to realize, I'm an introvert, and it takes a lot of energy for me to really work to put myself out there. It's exhausting, frankly, but we've got to make sure that we're doing this because it is a priority. It's part of our client acquisition process. Marketing is critical. You can't stop doing it. You want to make sure that you're getting help wherever needed so you have the time to invest in your own marketing. Sure, you can hire someone like me to do it for you. It will be cost prohibitive at some point. It's just more efficient and effective if you can learn to create your own content. Yeah, hire somebody like me to sex it up. Sure. And yes, there might be an element that is so critical that you want to hire me to write it for you. I'm just finished up a website that I wrote. That's a pretty big deal. So, hey, just joined me. If you click on that StreamYard link, all I'm going to see is your name and face. Right now in my dashboard, it says Facebook user. So don't be creeped out by clicking that little StreamYard link. All it does is let me see who I'm talking to. Otherwise, I have to go back and forth between my different platforms. So anyway, all right, what was I saying? I was saying how it's important to manage your strategic priorities. Looks like I froze. So let me know. Oh, there we go. I'm back. Let me know if you're having any problems. I have like 9 million tabs open. So you've got to manage your strategic priorities so you can invest the critical time to create that content, right? So you want to make sure that you're creating systems and processes so your work is streamlined. And believe me, I tell myself this all the time as well. You want to make sure that you are getting help in order to get yourself out of the weeds so your time can be truly invested in that high value payoff kind of work, thinking big thoughts, client service, and yes, in your own marketing. So, okay, so you've got to be visible, you've got to be found, you've got to be discoverable. That means you've got to use language that gets you found, and you've got to be creating content where people are looking for it. So as I mentioned, I'm using the fabulous StreamYard platform. And one reason why I use it, it has a fabulous free level. The reason I use the paid version, though, is because it lets me beam myself out to multiple locations at one time. As I do this, I'm on YouTube, I'm inside my business group, right? My private Facebook group for my clients and students where I support them. And then I'm also on my business page. I might even be on my personal page. I have no idea where I am. But that's why you want to start using these tools, because technology is one way that you can leverage your time more effectively. Otherwise, I'd be downloading video, uploading it somewhere else. It's exhausting and ridiculous. So use your money and your time wisely. So you want to make sure where you are using language that is discoverable. This, of course, is the old keyword phrases. Yes, we still use that language of SEO. There are some changes, though, and I like to think of SEO in terms of a core concept. But you want to use the language that people are actively searching for. This makes your potential for getting found and discoverable a lot easier because people are searching for it, right? You want to answer the questions that they want to know, and you want to use that core concept rich language. It also helps to build your brand. So also part of being visible and being discoverable is being where your audience is, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, some other social profile, but also building your own hub. I'm using my arms a lot today. Using your hub, your website as your online hub, right? Your digital center of your universe. And then you have these satellite locations. So you're out there mingling with folks every day getting your content out. Okay, next is you've got to have a clear, compelling message that shares your unique point of view. This whole strategy about creating content and using it to pre-sell you, that's my point of view. I am always going to talk about this. I'm always going to encourage you to remember that the whole idea of marketing is to pre-sell you, is to demonstrate what it would be like to work with you, to help. And these are the 4 components of pre-selling: educate, elevate, inspire, invite. Today's buyer wants to do it themselves. They want to do their own research. They want to form their own opinions. And then they want to talk to you only when they have to. Right? I just told somebody a couple of weeks ago who was not answering my questions and kept saying, "Let me connect you to a salesperson." I said, "I don't want to talk to a salesperson. I want you to answer my question." So remember, people are busy. This is all about being client focused, and why I talk about it so much. When you say, "Let me get you to a salesperson," "let me get you on a call," you're being ego focused. Give the person the information they want. Be client focused. Believe me, you'll be memorable just because of that, just because you were respectful to the fact that they want to have information that they can then process. You really want to think about engagement mechanisms and engagement strategies. That's really the name of the game. It's not just content for content's sake. Sorry, I need a sip of Diet Coke. It's not just content for content's sake. It's not all about you so you get found. It's so you can educate them. Got something on my throat. Excuse me. So you want to make sure that when you're creating content, there's some engagement mechanism. This is where I get back to the billboard content. I also call it client acquisition tools. They're the bigger pieces of content. So maybe you've created a blog post that then links to a questionnaire, or maybe you have a little worksheet that somebody can opt in to get that helps them think through and process the content that you just created. You really want people to interact with your content and engage with it. So whether it's that they're doing a worksheet or completing a questionnaire online or taking a survey, thinking about something, although people really need to get them to layer their senses onto an action, it really starts to work the brain much more heavily. So you want to think about engagement mechanisms, and then your content also should promote to an engagement mechanism. So whether you've got an upcoming speaking engagement or you've got a site on, I like this idea better. You've got a site on your website where all of your interviews and media are located, send them there. Or if you really do have an event that you're promoting, like maybe you do a webinar. I'm going to be doing this in the second half of the year. Maybe you have a webinar that you do once a month. Drive people to that webinar. Drive people to engage with you. Have people post questions on your business page. Do something to get people actively involved, get them thinking, and get them to realize that you are a helpful human. Okay, so that is engagement mechanisms. Speaking is one. Speaking on other people's shows, their live streams. If they've got an event coming up, be one of their speakers. Do live workshops where possible, and that's either physically present or virtually present. It's all live, right? Reach out to your local chamber of commerce. Reach out to groups that your buyers are likely to be members of, industry groups, trade groups, that kind of thing. And make sure, again, you have these engaging elements so you can help them process the information you're sharing. You want to make sure you create content, and I have a video about this. Create content that answers the 3 core types of questions. FAQs, frequently asked questions, SAQs, the stuff they really should ask you that they're not thinking about, and then WAQs, the want to ask questions that people don't. And if you want to hear me rant, I can go off on talking about pricing and whether you should have pricing on your information on your website. Just do the magic sign and pricing. And if you want that video about the 3 types of questions, just let me know, magic sign and questions, and I'll get you a link to that video. But you want to ask, or you want to answer the questions that are in their head. That's an old copywriting statement. I'm an old copywriter. We always try to answer the question that's in the mind of the buyer. What kind of conversation are they having with themselves, and what am I sharing? Am I answering those questions for them? Allergies are freaking out. FAQs, SAQs, want to ask. The SAQs, I'll give you an example. People, I used to have a couple of podcasts, and I keep swearing I'm going to be launching my new show soon. People will often ask me about the technology of podcasting and live streaming. What microphone should I have? What camera should I buy? That's the last thing you need to ask. What you need to ask yourself is, how does this fit in my overall sales process? What the heck am I going to be talking about? What am I going to do with the recording once I've got it? Who am I talking to? Those are the should ask questions. People often don't ask them. I could go off on a tangent about that, but I won't. I'll save it for another time. So you want to make sure that that's your content right there. People always ask me, what am I supposed to talk about? That's it. The stuff people want to know. FAQs, SAQs, and WAQs want to ask questions. You want to make sure that you are building your brand around the central concept that you most want to be found for, and that is built around the problem that you're solving. This is the nature of SEO, to be honest with you. So if you've got a central content or a quest, it's Friday. If you've got a central phrase, core concept that you really want to be known for, like mine is sell your services faster and easier. How do I do that? Through content, through strategy that gets you there. So build your brand, which is not your logo, it's not the color palette, that's the visual representation. The brand is really your reputation, it's what you're known for. So you want to think about that, and then all of your content needs to support this. So you're building that really strong brand, and over time, it really is part of building that, strong pyramid, if you will, that gets you found, because it lays foundation and then keeps layering on top of that. So it's easier for you to get discovered. So you want to make sure that you are distinct, that you are memorable, that you are consistent, and you are on message. You want to build this branded messaging that uses the content that people are actively searching for. So I have my branded messaging is FAQ, SAQ, WAQ, right? You're not going to hear other people talk about want to ask questions. You're not going to hear people talk about client acquisition tools or billboard content. Those are little elements of my branded content, and then they're built around the foundation of things that people are actively searching for. So if you are, let me not wrap this up. Let me just finish a couple of things, and then we'll tie this up. And then for those of you who are in my group, you can get going on your content co-creation time. So again, focus on client acquisition tools. If you have a bug in your head and you just got to get a message out like I did today, totally fine. You'll repurpose that content at some point. I can think of 15 different ways I can reuse the information I'm sharing with you today. But you really want to focus on building these client acquisition tools that are working to attract and then guide the buyer through their buying journey. So those are important. A core issue article, you'll notice I use the word core a lot. Core issue article, some kind of engagement element where people it's a qualification tool as well as a learning tool for them, where they can recognize that, I got a problem and I need help. I've tried to solve it and I can't do it. So I really need help. So you need a powerful message. You need those core client acquisition tools. You want to make sure that you are generating interest and help the person see themselves in what you're talking about. You also want to make sure that the tools you're creating then are shareable. And that's because the entire buying journey has to be frictionless. And you have to remember that your buyer, if you sell let's call it a high ticket item, where you deliver an outstanding service, a really powerful change, and you charge appropriately for that, that's probably a considered sale or a complex sale. The person is going to need to think about that. The person is going to need to reflect on, is this the right time for me? And you don't want to be manipulative. You want to help them process that stuff on their own, so you're not coming across, as my coach Molly would say, like a salesy weirdo. You are coming across as a helpful human. So you're helping them really understand the problem, how you solve it, why now is the time to get help. And you want them to actually actively be your advocate, because it's unlikely that they're making this decision all by themselves in a vacuum. They may have a coach they're going to talk to about this. They might have a partner, a life partner or a business partner. If you sell to a hierarchical organization, a bigger business, whether it's a big small business or mid-size or a corporate entity, there's a process and there are people in that buying process. So your contact, your prospect or your contact person, needs to be able to talk about you and your solution to other people. That's why your message has to be super simple. It's why your content needs to be built around these client acquisition tools, so they can just share it, and then others involved in the process go, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, let's have that person in. Let's get on a call with them, right? So that's the whole, real fast. And I know I went over longer than I wanted to, but that in a nutshell is what pre-selling is all about and how it works. So if you're in my pre-sale and profit lab and lounge, it is time for you to set your timer and start working on content creation. I'll be over in the group soon answering any questions that you have. So feel free to post right underneath this video inside the group, and I will respond to you there. If you're watching this somewhere else and you would like to learn more about me, I will include my Facebook business page here, and you can feel free to hop over. I'm doing a major rebuild of my own website right now. So feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to talk to you about pre-selling and help you understand the concept and what gaps you have in your own marketing and sales process, because you want your content to work as hard or harder than you do. All right, Winnie Anderson. I'm a digital marketing specialist and content and brand strategist, and I will see you in another video soon. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And if you're in my group, get to work on creating your content. I'll see you over there soon. Bye for now. My mouse is stuck.